So some other types of clues that children key into, which maybe sometimes comes through in discourse with the sequence of utterances, but given how often parents talk about the here and now, the visual salience, right, of the things that we're talking about, the reference, seems to matter a lot, right? So highly informative environments where it's easy for humans to guess the intended referent, just from sort of the visual, the non-linguistic information available, involve a joint attention with clear visual signatures, especially in this particular study, temporal cues that are indicative of causation. What does that mean? Well, so imagine that we're watching this scene right here. There's a kitty and there's a glass of water. You turn away from him and then whoop, there's a kitty and a knocked over glass of water, right? So this is the time that's passing, and you sort of say, oh, an agent causes something to happen at a particular time. That's a temporal cue of causation. This kitty caused that water to fall down. That's a very highly informative environment. You're probably talking about the kitty or the water, right? It's very easy to guess the sorts of things you might be talking about given this temporal sequence of events. And there's a strong correlation between the first words that children learn and how visually available they are. That is, how often these objects appear in children's environments. So visual experience, right, is really doing a lot of heavy lifting in very early word learning. Of course, for children who can see, for blind children, a different process occurs. But for children who can see, the visual salience, the visual field, what they can see in their immediate visual field is very focusing, right, in terms of what a word might refer to. And in fact, something that's particularly notable is there really may only be a very few objects in clear view of the child. So this is a kid who's got this is a GoPro, but a little camera mounted on her head just so you can really see what she's seeing. And if you're just looking down at this visual field, you're like, wow, she could be looking at like all these different things. There's this rug with all this stuff on it. There are all these toys. Like, oh my gosh, what could you be talking about if I give you a new word? But you look at what she's seeing, and well, there's actually not that much there, right? So if you are talking about what she's really focusing on, well, the range of hypotheses is much smaller, right? So different potential reference, there may be a lot fewer from the child's perspective, from that visual signal coming in. And children do seem to learn the names of things that are often visually present. They learn these earlier, right? So just, what's around them, what's in common in their, their daily field. Like maybe they'll learn arm, right? Because arms are in a couple of these. Or maybe, if there's a family pet that often appears, or a table, right? Or a toy, right, that appears in these different scenes. Things that are present a lot visually are things that they learn earlier, again suggesting that the visual experience of children is helpful in focusing their hypotheses for what new words could mean.